Hey there, this is Joy Sang. I'm a content marketer and founder based in Hong Kong. I help those with an entrepreneurial mindset explore their full potential with content. In this video, I want to share with you my slasher journey so that you can get 3 important takeaways if you're considering to start this journey yourself. Let's get started. So for those of you who know me via other social media platforms, you know that I have uploaded other videos on this YouTube channel before, but to be honest, they were more like tests. I didn't feel very ready to start on this platform. Not that I feel super ready now either, but I think it's a good time to start. So do be sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Give me a bit of thumbs up. Give me a bit of motivation for me to keep going on. So first things first, my slasher journey started when I was in high school. I was singing, I was modeling, and then I was also dancing. So singing actually came kind of very early on in my life. My whole family loves to sing. And so I attended different vocal classes, worked with producers, competed in singing competitions as well. I had the opportunity to kind of sign a contract and go down that route and become a singer as a career, but I didn't. And the reason was because there was a lot of limitations to my life if I took that route. So I wasn't able to eat things that I liked. There were things I cannot do. I had to drastically change my habits in order to protect my voice or, do performances and things like that. So I actually didn't end up choosing that. With modeling, it was more of a coincidence. I kind of got approached by modeling agencies, got interested, and I just thought it was a lot of fun. Being comfortable in front of the camera, trying on new clothes, working with different people. It was all very exciting. But at the end of the day, I think I was very deterred by the time I had to spend on casting because for those of you who know, it takes a lot of time and there's no guarantee. There's a very high chance of you not making the cut. So for me, it was not very attractive as a career path for me to go on. So that I also did not choose. Now in the end, I actually started dancing based on the requirement of my high school because they needed us to take extracurricular activities in order to graduate. So that was the whole idea. I wasn't interested or passionate about it in the first place. But once I started, little did I know, it became my career for the next 10 years. And I really was enjoying it a lot. So from being a dance student, I quickly became a dance instructor and then a professional dancer and ultimately a choreographer here in Hong Kong. Now, the first takeaway from those consolidated experiences that I've had is it's amazing if you can choose your passion to become your slasher journey beginning or your side hustle, but it's very important for you to be realistic and think about what it means to work on that passion. Putting work in a passion can easily take away the fun and the intriguing, loving side of it. And if that on its own is already demanding or stressful for you, there's no point, even if it's your passion. So after I graduated, I continued to teach dance, and at the time I was also looking for a full-time job. Now, graduating with a BA in arts back in the day in Hong Kong wasn't very valuable. People weren't really looking for art critiques or artists and things like that. So I kind of have to look at the qualities that I had and match it with different job descriptions. And ultimately, I found that I was more fitted and matched for the media industry because I like to write. Now, when I went into my first job interview, they really liked my characteristics, like my personality. However, they did not hire me because I did not have any writing experience. I didn't want to give up then because I know that was my shot. I really wanted to get that job. So what I did was I actually founded my own art and culture magazine overnight online called stuffs.com, and I started writing my own articles and sending that through to the HR, and ultimately they had to open a spot for me, though it wasn't like a permanent role. I was very excited to be working in the company. Now, fast forward after that, I slowly moved to other companies, becoming the online editor and attended fashion events, design, cultural events, and had a lot of PR networking opportunities. By then, I also really realized there are certain articles that I really enjoy writing, and there were certain articles that I don't find as much fun in compiling. So I really kind of refined that based on writing special articles on my own website on stuffs.com, and then using that as kind of like a magnet to attract other job opportunities. I sent that out on top of my CV and my regular resume, and almost all of the companies after that actually hired me based on my website, based on me doing the things that I love, me trying out different things and seeing what I can actually achieve on my own. I guess in short, that's really what the entrepreneurial mindset means to me. So I guess the second takeaway there for somebody who's thinking about a slasher journey is that when you have a problem, try and solve it with content. Try and back it up with content, because then you have something to show for. When other opportunities come knocking at your door, you can send them a link. You can send them a painting. You can show them something that you've created. Literally, if it wasn't for me recording, writing, doing all the stuff online and having that to show for, there was no way I was able to get all the opportunities I did later on in my life. So by my late 20s, I already had several identities in my slasher journey. I was a full-time employee that transcended from being a reporter to an editor to a video assistant producer to a social media manager, and then ending as a content director at an advertising agency. So I progressed through the whole idea of content creation across different industries. Now, the second identity I had was I was the founder and the editor of stuffs.com. So I was interviewing artists, receiving press releases, delegating those to different writers in order to create content on the website. The third thing that I was doing then still was dancing. So apart from teaching dance, I was also very excited that I had the opportunity to step on the Hong Kong Coliseum stage, which was my ultimate goal and ultimate dream. So I was able to do concerts there as a professional dancer. And then on the side, I also had little gigs here and there. I was doing people's hair because I really like doing cornrows and styling people's hair. So I did that as like a small gig for people who asked. And then I also did nail art. So I did start a YouTube channel years before, and I was teaching people how to do nail art because I wanted to save money myself. Instead of going out for a manicure, I learned how to do some of the things in my bedroom. What happened is that I have these arrays of different identities as a slasher, which they all kind of generated different opportunities as well as income. Obviously, the most important thing, confidence and value in myself. But as I was approaching 30, I really thought to myself, I need to be very, 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 very good at one thing. So I can do all these things, but I wanted myself to differentiate by being an expert at one of the things. Long story short, I actually wrote a list, tried to puzzle out everything, and I realized that my strength is definitely in storytelling and content creation. And the thing that I can help people do is to explore their full potential by doing that, because that's exactly what I did throughout most of my life. The third takeaway here is, as a slasher, you should try everything. You should try all the things that you find a passion in, you're capable of making it into work, and you have content to show for. However, it's also very important for you to niche down. So it's not just a term that's relevant in marketing where you want to talk to a specific target audience, but it's very important for you to niche down so that you can focus on growing that expertise. So when people think of you, not through all these different tiny gateways, but this one big door of who you are and what you represent. I'm going to quickly jump in here. I do have a free ebook for you guys to download right below, where it talks about the ways you can acquire your first paying client using content. So it's perfect for anybody who's considering to become a slasher, or even for entrepreneurs who have already kind of started their business and is struggling to acquire their first client with content. So remember to download below. And now let's get back to the list to our fourth takeaway. So after I niched down and realized that my value and my superpower is in content creation, storytelling, and helping others explore their full potential with content, I decided to look for a new full-time job that paid me a lot more money, because I was able to show for my ability based on all these different content and references I have accumulated over the years as a slasher. So that's what I did. I stopped providing my side gig services, and I really focused on niching down and using that to maximize the ability of me in earning a bigger amount of money without spending all these time here and there. I did get to that point. I did find a full-time job. The title was along the lines of being a content manager slash digital marketer. And the reason for me not being able to recall that title is because that job was the worst decision of my life. I've never worked at such a toxic environment. It was sad and horrible. It was my first time crying in the office. And within 3 months, I quit. If I'm so good at this and I know that I have all these references and experiences to show for, why am I even working here and putting up with all these corporate cultures that I do not enjoy? So what I did was I actually quit on the 31st of October in 2020, and I actually got my first client on the 1st of November 2020. Based on what? Based on my content. So my first lead came in through LinkedIn, and he said he saw some of my content and asked me if I provided the services that I mentioned, and I just said yes, and it started to snowball from there onwards. The fourth takeaway here is that if you're a slasher and you have this journey of accumulating all these amazing experiences and content and realizing what your niche is, your ability is not just to continue and explore different identities, but your most powerful asset is that now you can choose to not work for anybody else ever. Because nobody has all these assets than you in that limited amount of time, right? You were living two different lives during the same period of time where people might have just worked one full-time job. You might have more opportunities than anybody could have had in 5 years. It's all about being able to recognize those experiences and what content and what stories they can tell and propel yourself from there for exponential growth. So that was what I did, even though it took me the hard way of learning that I should not work for somebody. But again, if you realize that that is your potential and you have recognize what your value is and you decide to stay in a corporate culture and work for somebody, that's completely fine as well. I'm just saying being a slasher and having those journey, going through those several steps that I've mentioned, equips you to be able to have that flexibility in deciding if or if not you want to work for somebody else. So in a nutshell, for anybody who's considering to become a slasher, first takeaway is you can always start with your passion, but make sure that you can work on it. Second thing is always have content to show for. Third thing, try to niche down. Fourth thing, recognize your value and your superpower and have the flexibility to choose if you want or do not want to work for somebody else. So that's it. That's my slasher journey. Hope it has inspired you. Remember to comment, subscribe, like, and let me know if you have any questions. And until next time.